What happens when a championship dynasty starts crumbling from within, and their most promising young talent becomes the sacrificial lamb in a desperate attempt to recapture past glory? The Golden State Warriors find themselves at this exact crossroads as reports surface about a potential blockbuster trade that would send Jonathan Kuminga to the Chicago Bulls in exchange for emerging talent that could either revitalize their championship dreams or accelerate their decline into mediocrity. This isn't just another routine NBA trade rumor. This is a franchise-defining moment that could determine whether the Warriors' legendary run continues or comes to a devastating end. The desperation is palpable in the Bay Area as the Warriors watch their championship window, potentially slamming shut, while their young star sits on the bench, unfulfilled and underutilized. Kuminga, the 7th overall pick in 2021, represents everything the Warriors need for their future: explosive athleticism, raw talent, and the kind of upside that could carry them beyond the Curry-Thompson-Green era. Yet here we are, watching Golden State consider trading away their most valuable young asset because they can't figure out how to maximize his potential within their current system. Jonathan Kuminga's situation with the Warriors perfectly encapsulates the cruel irony of being a highly drafted prospect on a championship team. His athletic gifts are undeniable. At 6 feet 7 inches with incredible explosiveness and developing skills on both ends of the court, he possesses the physical tools that scouts' dreams are made of. Yet, these same talents have been largely wasted as he struggles to find consistent playing time within Golden State's veteran-heavy rotation. The numbers tell a frustrating story of untapped potential. Despite showing flashes of brilliance whenever given extended opportunities, Kuminga has been relegated to inconsistent minutes that make it nearly impossible for any young player to develop rhythm and confidence. His performances have been a roller coaster of promise and inconsistency, largely because the Warriors have failed to commit to his development in any meaningful way. This situation creates a maddening paradox for Warriors fans. They can see Kuminga's tremendous upside during his limited opportunities, yet they also understand why Coach Steve Kerr relies on proven veterans during crucial moments. The result is a talented young player whose development has been stunted by circumstances beyond his control, and a franchise that might be forced to trade away their future because they couldn't properly nurture it. The psychological impact on Kuminga himself cannot be understated. Being drafted as a lottery pick creates certain expectations and confidence levels, but spending years in limited roles can erode that self-belief. Players of his caliber need consistent opportunities to make mistakes, learn from them, and gradually develop into their potential. The Warriors' championship or bust mentality has made it nearly impossible to provide that developmental runway. From Chicago's perspective, acquiring Jonathan Kuminga represents exactly the kind of calculated risk that can transform a franchise's trajectory. The Bulls have been searching for impact talent that can grow alongside their existing core while providing the athleticism and versatility that modern NBA success demands. Kuminga checks every box on their wish list. Chicago's current roster construction makes Kuminga an ideal fit, both positionally and developmentally. Unlike Golden State, where he competes with established veterans for playing time, the Bulls could offer him the consistent minutes and defined role necessary for a young player to flourish. Their timeline aligns perfectly with his development curve, creating a situation where both player and organization benefit from immediate integration. The Bulls' coaching staff and front office have shown a willingness to be patient with young talent while still maintaining competitive aspirations. This environment could be exactly what Kuminga needs to unlock the star potential that made him such a coveted prospect entering the NBA. Chicago's offensive system could utilize his athleticism more effectively, while their defensive schemes could help him develop into the two-way impact player he was projected to become. Perhaps most importantly, the Bulls need exactly what Kuminga offers: dynamic wing play that can create his own shot while defending multiple positions. Their roster has lacked that explosive X factor that can elevate a good team to contender status, and Kuminga's ceiling suggests he could eventually fill that void if properly developed. The Warriors' decision-making process around Kuminga reflects the broader challenge facing their organization. balancing immediate championship aspirations with long-term sustainability. Their core of Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green remains talented but aging, creating urgency to maximize every opportunity during their remaining prime years. This urgency has created an environment where young players like Kuminga struggle to find consistent roles. The Warriors can't afford extended development periods or growing pains when every game could be crucial to their playoff positioning and championship chances. Yet, this same mentality might be forcing them to trade away the very player who could extend their competitive window beyond their current core's decline. The irony is devastating. By prioritizing short-term success over Kuminga's development, the Warriors may have created a situation where they're forced to trade him just as he's approaching the breakthrough that could benefit both parties. If Kuminga develops into the star many project him to become, Golden State will have essentially gifted that production to a potential future competitor. The financial implications add another layer of complexity. Kuminga is still on his rookie contract, providing incredible value relative to his potential production. Trading him now means giving up years of cost-controlled talent during a period when the Warriors are already dealing with luxury tax implications from their veteran contracts. Any potential trade between the Warriors and Bulls would need to address Golden State's immediate needs while providing Chicago with the long-term asset they're seeking in Kuminga. The Bulls possess several interesting pieces that could appeal to a Warriors team looking to retool around their veteran core. Chicago's emerging talent pipeline includes players who could provide immediate impact in Golden State's system while still offering upside for the future. The Bulls have been developing young players who understand their roles and could seamlessly integrate into the Warriors' championship culture without requiring the extended development timeline that Kuminga needs. The financial mechanics of any potential deal would also need careful consideration. Both teams operate under different competitive timelines and salary cap constraints that would influence their willingness to take on various contracts. The Warriors need cost-effective contributors who can help immediately, while the Bulls can afford to invest in longer-term development projects. The stylistic fit between organizations also matters significantly. Warriors players need to understand their system's complexity and be willing to sacrifice individual statistics for team success. Bulls acquisitions need to fit their rebuilding timeline while providing veteran leadership for their younger core. For the Warriors, trading Kuminga represents a massive gamble on their ability to find adequate replacement production through other means. If their veteran core declines more rapidly than anticipated, or if injuries derail their championship plans, they could find themselves regretting the loss of Kuminga's long-term upside. The development timeline also presents risks for both organizations. There's no guarantee that Kuminga reaches his projected ceiling, even with increased opportunity in Chicago. Young players with his profile sometimes struggle with consistency and decision-making regardless of their situation, making any trade involving him inherently risky. From Chicago's perspective, investing significant assets in an unproven player like Kuminga could backfire if he fails to develop as expected. The Bulls have limited resources and need to make smart decisions about which young players deserve major investments of time and capital. The competitive balance implications also matter. If this trade helps the Warriors maintain championship relevance while Kuminga develops into a star for the Bulls, it could create a situation where both teams benefit significantly, but it could also mean Chicago inadvertently helped their trade partner while taking on development risks themselves. This potential trade would establish important precedents about how championship teams handle promising young talent who don't fit their immediate timeline. The Warriors' decision could influence how other contenders approach similar situations with their own young players. The market value implications are equally significant. If Kuminga gets traded and subsequently develops into a star, it could affect how teams evaluate similar prospects in future trades. Organizations might become more reluctant to trade young talent with his profile, or they might demand higher returns when forced into such situations. The ripple effects throughout the league could be substantial. Other teams watching this situation will learn valuable lessons about talent development, roster construction, and the balance between present competitiveness and future sustainability. The outcome could influence trade deadline strategies and long-term planning across the NBA. Warriors fans find themselves torn between conflicting emotions about this potential trade. Their rational minds understand that Kuminga hasn't reached his potential in Golden State and might flourish elsewhere, but their hearts rebel against trading away a player who could be their future franchise cornerstone. The attachment to young talent runs deep among fan bases, especially when that talent was acquired through the draft rather than trade or free agency. Kuminga represents hope for continued competitiveness beyond the current era, and losing him could feel like surrendering the future for an uncertain present. Bulls fans, meanwhile, would likely embrace the acquisition with enthusiasm. They've endured years of mediocrity and false starts in their rebuilding efforts, making the addition of a high-upside player like Kuminga particularly appealing. The risk would seem worthwhile, given their current competitive position. As this potential trade scenario continues developing, both organizations must weigh immediate needs against long-term sustainability. The Warriors face the challenge of maximizing their remaining championship opportunities while the Bulls seek to build sustainable competitiveness for the future. The ultimate decision will reveal each franchise's true priorities and risk tolerance. For Golden State, trading Kuminga would represent a clear commitment to their veteran core and immediate championship pursuit. For Chicago, acquiring him would signal confidence in their development program and patience with long-term building. The stakes couldn't be higher for both organizations. This trade could either catalyze championship success for the Warriors and developmental breakthrough for Kuminga with the Bulls, or it could represent a massive miscalculation that haunts both franchises for years to come. Whatever happens, this situation perfectly illustrates the complex decisions facing NBA teams as they balance competing priorities and limited resources. The outcome will be studied and analyzed for years, potentially influencing how similar situations are handled throughout the league. What's your take on this potential block?